Welcome back to Newsroom. I'm Chella Smith. This is your Middle East U.S. entertainment news here on YouTube. I air on Fridays. I bring you the latest on reforms and economics of Iraq based on reports put out by the Middle East news media outlets. I do this weekly review and it's based off my interests. Thank you everyone for joining me. Last week we talked about reconstruction, the private sector, the World Bank, reforms, the ENRG. We talked about solar, oil, and the gas sector. Let's take a look at this week's headlines. Parliamentary is set to elect its president on Saturday, and the agenda for the Monday session is available. The House of Representatives is set to elect the Council's president in its scheduled session next Saturday, as announced by the Parliamentary Media Service. And on Patreon, we talk about that there's 4 presidencies set. This is one of 4. And U.S. President Joe Biden has nominated Tracy Ann Jacobson for the position of ambassador and commissioner to the Republic of Iraq, replacing Elena Romanowski. Jacobson, a professional member of the Senior Diplomatic Corps, has served as a charge d'affaires at the U.S. Embassy in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and as deputy head of mission at U.S. Embassy in Riga, Latvia. She also receives numerous awards for her missionary of foreign affairs and the Order of Peace, Democracy, and Humanity. And there's been a lot of turbulence in Iraq. Iraq's Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani has announced the managed to defuse the crisis with escalating regional tensions following the war on Gaza. The U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin confirmed that the Supreme Military Committee with Iraq will launch within days to begin a process committee with both sides during the U.S.-Iraq Joint Security Cooperation Dialogue. The process will enable the U.S.-Iraqi Supreme Military Commissions to transition to a permanent bilateral security partnerships between the two countries. Based on the successes of the campaign to defeat ISIS in Iraq, al-Sudani has also expressed the importance of the Iraqi-Spanish relations and sought to strengthen them at the various levels and fields. He renewed Iraq's position on the mission of the international coalition to fight ISIS in Iraq, noting that the terrorist organization no longer poses a threat to the Iraqi state and that it's time to move to bilateral relations with the coalition countries. The State Administration Coalition comprises the majority of political forces in Iraq's current government and has backed the government's decision to regulate its relationships with the international coalition. The coalition supports the Ministry of Foreign Affairs' announcement of a dialogue between Iraq and the U.S.-led international coalition, ending the combat mission and setting a timetable to reduce advisors. The coalition reiterates its support for the government's measures, including dialogue with international coalition and recharacterization of its existence in relations with its parties. The coordination framework praised the joint statement, congratulating the government's efforts in the negotiations to redraw the relationships with the international coalition and to preserve Iraq's rights, sovereignty, security, and stability. The National Resolvement Alliance also affirmed the government's support to establishing a sustainable relationship with the international coalitions. Narendra Barzani expresses his support for the Iraqi-American agreement, stating that it will significantly enhance the stability of Iraq. The Kurdistan Regional President, Narendra Barzani, welcomes the Iraqi-U.S. agreement to resume the work of the Supreme Military Committee. He expresses his support for the agreement and the progress of the bilateral relations, stating that the Kurdistan region will cooperate to protect the country's safety, security, and sovereignty. We want to pray for our international coalition and our contractors and subcontractors over there in Iraq. Moving forward, the American Embassy has halted visas for Iraqis. The U.S. Embassy in Baghdad reduces staff due to the renewed Iraqi coalition attacks and the Gaza war, halting visa assurance procedures and only granting entry permits to the government delegations. There's been a lot of disturbance in Iraq. Fly Baghdad has announced the suspension of all its flights until further notice. Fly Baghdad suspends flights until CEO and management completes investigation into Iranian Revolutionary Guard, Quds forces, and proxy groups in Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon. With all this turbulence in the Middle East, it'll be nice to see the Middle East get back to their normal. Baghdad is set to host the first oil and gas conference in the Arab world since 1945 and is scheduled for this Saturday. The Arab World Oil and Gas Conference, set to take place in Baghdad next Saturday, is expected to be the first of the modern era, with participants from Egypt, Lebanon, Jordan, Syria, Qatar, and Liberia. The conference will cover topics such as oil wealth, investment, energy exploration, and the environmental protection and crude oil productions. Dr. Majid Al-Wili, the governor of Al-Najaf, announced the discovery of oil and the Oasis Al-Rabin area by the Iraqi Oil Exploration Company and foreign experts. The order of a committee to maintain communication with the Ministry of Oil and the Oil Exploration Company and emphasizes the discovery for potential for economic and development revolutions. Next on the list, Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani has approved the recommendations of the Committee for Establishing a Fixed Platform for Imported Gas at the Al-Fal port, the first of its kind in the national oil, gas, and infrastructure sector. The committee aims to ensure gas supplies continually and address the power station shortage. The project aligns with the government's effort to solve gas supply problems and to transition to relying on natural gas productions. Huawei, head of technical seminars at the Ministry of Electricity headquarters, discussing digital transformation, energy future, and electrical system protection programs. The seminar features Huawei's advanced technology, sustainability, and smart communities. The ministry emphasizes the ministry's policy, focusing on secure system operations, scientific standards, and technical issue analysts. Speaking about innovative technology, the Digital Center advocates for implementation of information technology law to safeguard electronic payments. The Iraqi Digital Media Center, the DMC, reports rapid development in electronic payment and financial transactions, requiring legislation attention to digital legislation to protect citizens from financial data and user privacy. The DMC emphasizes the need for speedy adoption of laws combating information technology crimes, collaborating with specialized organizations, and ensuring freedom and expression. The DMC also notes Iraq's delay in approving digital laws for virtual world crimes. Which brings me to my next subject. I want everyone on this channel to be careful for scammers in the comments. Please never share your information, not your email, your telephone number, or anything like that. I will never advise you to invest in the Iraqi dinar or any other type of cryptocurrency, CBDC, or anything like that. If you see something like that, report it as a crime. You've been watching Newsroom Weekly Review. I'm Chella Smith with your Middle East, U.S. entertainment news on reforms and economics of Iraq. I bring you the latest dinar news without having to keep up with all the different outlets. I'm here on YouTube every Friday, so don't forget to subscribe and turn those notification bells on. If you like my content, give me a thumbs up. If you really like my content, you can always seed a super chat or a super thanks in the comment section below. Again, thank you for being a subscriber, and thank you for visiting Newsroom Chella Smith for your trusted dinar news. I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Make sure you join us Fridays, 4 p.m. with Newsroom Updates with Chella Smith Entertainment News.